Again, important to take good notes, okay? Always take good notes. So yesterday we talked about factoring quadratic trinomials, and we got 2/3 of the way done. There's just one more type that we haven't talked about. But first of all, let's just review yesterday's. Like, so if I had x squared plus, well, hang on, 15x plus 56, I'm asking myself, what are factors of 56? In other words, two numbers that multiply to equal 56, but add together to equal 15. That's what 8 and 7. 56 is 7 times 8, right? So 7 plus 8 is 15. That's perfect. So I'm going to take these two numbers. They're both positive. So I'm going to do x positive 7, which is plus 7, times x positive 8, which is plus 8. And that's it. Now I use my fingers for outside and inside. I go, outside is 8x plus 7x. That's 15x. There we go. We did it. Now, if you don't do that, especially on the ones we're going to learn today, I would say at least 30% of the time you'll be wrong. So that figure, if I gave you a whole test on those, you'd get, if you got 30% wrong, you'd get about a 70. If you don't use the finger method, right? And
if you don't use what?
If you don't use the outside plus inside to check your work, right? Because people will forget and they'll put the wrong sign in front of the number. But you'll see that in a second. Let's do one more, sort of like yesterday, just to remind ourselves. We have x squared minus 19 plus 90. 19x plus 90.
9 and 10.
9 times 10, let's see that. Let's see if that's right. 9 times 10 is 90. 9 plus 10 is 19. Oh, wait. But it's positive 19. Oh, shoot. Oh, throw it out the window. What? Oh, wait. Negative 9 times negative 10 is also equal to 90. And negative 9 plus negative 10 is negative 19. So I'm going to do x negative 9, which becomes minus 9, and then x negative 10, which means x minus 10.
Check. What's that?
Negative 10x minus 9x minus 19x. Yes! All right? So you guys, fifths of 5. You guys get that, right? Pretty strong one, right? All right. So the next one is a little harder. Not much harder, believe me. They're really easy, but they're just a little bit harder. Notice, when we did these, we added them together, right? Well, that's what we're going to do still, but it's sort of going to be a little, we'll see. Let me just do it. All right, so let's do...
It's just a little bit more complicated.
Just a little bit more complicated, and you'll see why in a second. X squared, let's say minus
10.
2x minus 48. So let's think about it for a second. We're looking, that sign goes with the 48. So you're actually looking for two numbers that multiply to equal negative 48. What does that mean about the signs of those two numbers?
The numbers will be negative.
One of the numbers has to be negative, one of them has to be positive. That's the only way you're going to get a negative number, right? So that means there could be a lot of options. I mean, when you have the negative in front of the C, there's a lot more possibilities. Because look at this.
6 times negative 8.
Yeah, but but just bear with me for a second. Let's just think about all the possibilities. You've got negative 1 times 48. You've got 1 times negative 48. You've got negative 2 times 24. You got 2 times negative 24. You got negative 4 times 12. You got 4 times negative 12. You've got negative 6 times 8. You've got 6 times negative 8. And maybe there's more that I'm not thinking of. Doesn't 16 go into that?
Yeah.
Three times.
Yes. Okay, so 16. So we got negative 3 times 16, and we've got 3 times negative 16. That's a lot of options. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, but none of them add up to.
Yeah.
So the
Six and
question
negative
is,
eight,
do any of them add up to negative 2?
Negative 8.
6 and negative 8.
6 and negative 8. If I had 6 plus negative 8, that would equal negative 2.
Whoa.
Right? So that would be my answer. So I would write this. I would write x. If 6 is positive here, so I put positive 6 plus 6, parentheses, x is, 8 is negative, so x negative 8 or minus 8. Now I use my outside plus inside. Negative 8x plus 6x is definitely going to be negative. They're 2 apart, so negative 2x. Yes! We did it. Not hard, right? It's the same thing as before. The difference, though, is actually if you
I don't see the difference. One and negative
if
and one.
what?
I don't see a difference.
Well, the difference is that one of them is negative, one is positive.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And so really, technically, what you're doing is you're subtracting the 2 numbers from each other.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if you were thinking, okay, they're negative, one's going to be positive, so this is how I do it. Let me show you. Let me do it one. Let's do x squared. Let me think that one.
Plus.
That's too
Great
easy.
on the video. 0.
Scared.
Just do x
Uh-oh.
squared.
What did I just do?
X plus 0.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
gonna be very.
All right. So this is the one. So this is the one. These ones just take a little. It's a little harder to figure out what to think them right really fast in my head. But so I'm thinking of. This is what I do. I immediately draw this out, and I say x, and I figure out my signs first. Right? That's how I do it. This way works fine. To do it this way, and if that works for you guys, do it that way. But I'm going to show you just a slight tweaking of it that I do. I will immediately say, okay, that tells me what?
It's gonna be a positive and negative.
Yeah, they're not going to be the same. They have to be, one's positive, one's negative, right? It's got to be, right? So I immediately do that. I put a plus and a minus. Okay?
Can you do a minus and a
And then what I do is I say, okay, factors of 24. Really, it's negative 24. But I'm thinking, okay, what are factors of 24? I've got 1 times 24. I've got 2 times 12. I've got 3 times 8. And I've got 4 times 6. And that's probably it.
And then you
Then
just
you
subtract.
plus
And then
eight.
you just
And
subtract
so I
the numbers.
subtract them, right? I subtract them and I say, okay, which one of them when I subtract? What's 6 minus 4? 2. What's 8 minus 3?
5.
5. Look. So look, I notice that works. So I could say, what's 3 minus 8? Negative 5. 3 minus 8 is negative 5. So
3 is.
So
as
if
long
plus
as
doesn't
I
work, you
as
just do
long as I
minus.
know the number, the difference of the 2 is 5, then all I do is I say, look, 5 is negative. So I have 3 and 8 as my numbers.
3 minus.
And I have to make sure if that's a negative, I have to have the bigger number be negative. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if
So,
you can't do 3
If
plus
I
8,
put the 8 here and I put the 3 here, it works because the negative 8 plus negative 8x plus 3x is going to be negative 5x. So as long as I always make sure that if that's negative, the bigger number has to have be with the negative. If that's positive, the bigger number has to be with the positive. So Clayton.
So I'm confused. So like, if you can't add any of them, you have to subtract to get the.
Yeah, because it's negative 24.
Well,
You're
what's
actually
the
taking
difference?
the difference of the two. You're subtracting them
You
from
could
each
add
other.
it, Clayton, because it could be.
Or
Three
this
plus
method
negative
is
eight.
just this is the
a lot longer.
I probably shouldn't be teaching. I should probably be teaching you this because this is the same way you do the others, and it's fine. Whichever way works better for you. I just also do it that way. I do it both ways, really. To be honest
So
with you.
then would your points be negative 3 and positive 8?
Yes.
Okay,
So then if you were looking technically, if you were asked what are the what are the x-intercepts? They're going to be just the opposite of this. It's going to be negative 3 and positive 8. And we'll explain, that's a whole nother lecture. That's another lecture. I'm not expecting you to know that yet.
Wait, what's that?
This is, you know how like when you use the quadratic formula, you actually are finding where it crosses the x-axis? You're finding the x-intercepts, right? Well, you can do that with these two. I just haven't taken you to that step yet. This is how you factor, but then I showed it to you yesterday briefly. And it basically is this. You put it set it equal to 0, and then either a plus 3 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, which means subtract 3, x is negative 3. Boom. Or x minus 8 is 0, add 8, x is positive 8. So I know, and it's a happy smiley face, so I know my parabola is going to look like that. I don't know where my vertex is, but I do know where my x-intercepts are.
How do you find your vertex?
I could find my vertex.
Oh, yeah,
you guys
you
know
can
how to do
find
that.
vertex.
How do you find your vertex again?
Negative b over 2a.
X equals
yeah.
negative b over 2a. And that gives you your x and vertex, but you got to find your y. How do you figure out your y?
Square it, make it negative, and add c.
You're
And times
amazing.
it by a, actually.
And multiply it times a, right? That's clever. I still want to double check and make sure that works on everything. I think it will. It will, though. I think it will. That's pretty cool. Say it again. You square it,
Okay,
make
so
it
you
negative,
square it,
multiply
make it
it times
negative,
a,
multiply by a,
and add
then
c,
add c.
right?
Cell method.
That's so brilliant. The Sal method. Salvadorian
Or the
calculation. We'll call it the Salvadorian calculation. Right? That's pretty cool.
Famous.
All right, so let's try a few. So wait, I want to know kind of which page, do people prefer this method? It seems like most people prefer this method,
Yeah.
right? Am I right? All right, that's fine. So let's focus on this method. I think it's probably easier for kids.
How many more examples do we have to do?
500,000. We should play soccer around math now.
Yeah.
939.
Let's do two more. Let's do two more examples, okay?
We play soccer
X
with
squared.
More time to teach me.
Okay.
Oh, you made it positive.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I said something.
Thank you. X squared minus 4x minus 60. Okay, Sal already knows. Raise your hand when you know. Raise your hand, Dina, when you know. She knows! Yes!
You know, what is it?
Dina, you use it every day in your everyday life.
I do, but I use others. Wait, we're gonna factor quadratic trinomials
No, other way around, other way
in our
around.
everyday life.
No,
Negative
it's
6 minus 10.
Yeah, that's negative 6.
No, it's 6 minus 10. It's 6 negative
6 minus 10.
So we got 6 times. We got either.
Oh, it's negative 4.
Yeah.
We got either negative 6 times 10 or 6 times negative 10. Which one will give you the negative 4?
6 times negative 10.
Yes. So it would be x plus 6 times x minus 10. Don't forget this. This is the one in particular where it makes a huge difference. You will be amazed how many times you will put the 10 in front of the positive and the 6 in front of the negative. It just happens. I don't know. Brains work that way for some reason. So the finger method works. Negative 10x plus 6x is negative 4x. Yes. Okay, it works. Okay. One more example or trial. Whatever.
Trial.
Wait, so you're saying we're gonna factor quadratic trinomials in our everyday life?
No,
Absolutely.
Trinomials.
Absolutely.
Trinomials.
Come on.
So are we gonna use like what more extra?
Hang on one second. Hang on.
If you're a math teacher,
What is it again? Okay. All right. There you go. Raise your hand when you have the answer. Don't shout it out. Raise your hand when you have the answer.
Plus 2.
That's right. Raise your hand when you have the answer.
Negative I don't know. That's crazy.
Just want to hear what you think.
Oh my god. I know it. Here. It's negative 2 and 18. It's
Thank
negative
you,
2 and 18.
Amy.
Yes. I knew it. Oh, right. It's negative 2 and 18.
Oh, yeah.
Get it? All right. So factors of negative 36. What did you get, Amy?
Negative 2, 18.
All right. So we have two possibilities: either negative 2 and 18, or 2 and negative 18. Right?
It's negative 2.
It's got to be this one, right? That'll give me positive 16. So I'm going to write x minus 2 times x plus 18. Great. Awesome. Fist to 5. What? Oh, right. Oh, I forgot to do the fingers. Oh, my gosh. 18x minus 2x is positive 16x. All right, fist to 5 again. I want to just see. Fist to 5, guys. Fist to 5. Fist to 5.
I'm holding up my toes also.
Fist to 5. Fist to 5. Fist to 5.
When it's green like that.
You guys rock. Okay. The lecture is complete.